In this tutorial, we're going to go over creating a wedding banquet. Now I'm in my main stage area, and this is a layout I already have in the system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to bring items in and start creating your banquet area. So let's go into 3D first so you can see what this space looks like. So one of the great things with this software is you can go into 3D. Look at that. Isn't that nice? This is a nice room. I'm using my arrows on the keyboard to zoom in. You can also, we're in orbital right now, you can come and click down here on walkthrough cam and go around the room. You can use your mouse for turning, or the arrows also on the side for turning around and getting a good visual of what your space is going to look like. So let's click out and start designing. So let's start bringing in our tables, because we know that's going to take up most of the room. So I'm going to my tool panel, AZ Array Zone, drag and drop it into the space. We're going to bring our tables in within this zone. Now you can either stretch it like this, or you can come over to Array Zone and put in a size that you want. And now let's bring some tables in. So I have my tables open on my Assets panel. I think I want to go with a 5-foot diameter table. For the guests, I want it to be a little bit more intimate so they can have some good conversation at this wedding. Zoom in here and take a look at the table. Now you're going to, if you come over to your properties panel, you're going to notice that you can see the table. You can click on 3D properties, see your color options with it. Or you can come over to where it says back color, click on that, and you can add your own color. You can either click within the palette, or if you have a PMS color, you can put that in. Now, we already have our color scheme for the wedding. The bride wants purple and pink, and so we're going to use the PMS color that we know that goes with the purple that she likes. Put it right in there, click OK. It's going to bring the table in, and there it is. This is going to be the color that we're going to use for our tablecloths, and we're going to bring pink in at some point as well. So let's come up and hit save. Now when you first start creating your layout, you can go in and hit quick save under the save button. And that's going to automatically save your items. Every time you do a new command, it's going to save it automatically. So there's our table off to the side. I like that color. This gives you in 3D a good visual on seeing what items are going to look like in the space, especially when you start bringing in different colors. All right, let's zoom in here and let's start adding some chairs. Now at this point, if you know you're going to use this table in other areas of the room, you can just make copies of it. But with this particular tablecloth, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep with the item that I have and not really make any extra copies at this point. And I'm just going to go up here to Table Arrangement, click on that. And it's automatically going to bring it in with the alphabetically the first chair on the dialog box. And for this event, I want to go with the Chiavari chair. I really like that a lot for my layouts. If you come over here, you're going to notice it gives you the quantity of chairs that you have. And I'm just going to see what it looks like with a few more. If I can get 10 per table, I'd like that. I'm going to have roughly 200 guests, so we're going to add a little wiggle room there. Let's hit generate. Now if you want to go distance between the chairs, you just click on this here and that readjusts everything from pushing it into the table or bringing it under the table, just like that. I like to bring it out a little bit, so when I'm kind of figuring out my room flow, I already have the chairs kind of, you know, backed out a little bit. And I hit generate. And now we have the chairs around the table. So let's zoom out and let's bring these tables into our array zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the table and chairs. I'm going to come over here, room arrangement, select array zone, click in the array zone, show window. I'm going to hit draw. Now right now we're in honeycomb, which I like because it's a good flow. You can also go to grid. That's really good for corporate events. If you want more structured, especially when you're doing chairs, just chairs alone. I'm going to go back to the honeycomb, hit draw. And if you look down here, you're going to see your number of objects. Right now we have 42. So I want to bring in a little bit more space between the objects. I'm going to hit draw again, and I'm going to be removing some tables on the floor plan because I want to bring a dance floor in. So even if I have a few extra in here, that's fine, because I want to make sure I have enough, space to be able to put my dance floor in and, make it look really good for my presentation. So right now we have 33, and I think I like how it's starting to look here. Let's change the justification a little bit. Hit draw again. That means it's to the left. I'm going to bring it over a little bit more. And now our tables are in our space. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here. And I could have did a little bit more with the left justification and bringing them down and getting them centered and perfecting it that way. But another way you can do it is you can, get everything in your space, and we don't need the array zone anymore. We can delete it. There we go. I like to window my objects, group them. Now they're all connected, and then I can move them around. And at this point, I can just bring things in, and I'm going to leave them connected for now while I start bringing other items in, and then we'll ungroup them at the end. Another thing you'll notice, and let me zoom in and show you, is there's numbers on your tables, and this is great because you can, and once we ungroup, I'll show you, but you can change your numbers. You can give it a name. You can give it, different numbers if you start removing tables at some point. You can readjust your numbering system. So that's another great thing with the software. So now let's bring in the dance floor, because that is where the fun starts with weddings. So I am going to come over to under my inventory, stage structures, okay? And then we have the structure, the LED light in it, so we can light up this dance floor. Now it comes in already at 120 by 120, so 10 by 10, but we can change the size. And so if you know the particular size of your dance floor, you can put it right in there, width and depth. And I know what I'm going to go with. I want a really big dance floor because these guests like to dance. So I'm going to just put the number in right over here in the properties panel, hit enter, and it changes. Isn't that great? So quick and easy. And this way then you can kind of bring it around your tables that are already in a group and decide, well, where do you really want it positioned? Do you want it right in the middle? Do you want it back to the side a little bit? And this is where it works out well with having everything kind of set up, grouped. You can position things around, then you can ungroup and then do any deleting that you need to do. I'm going to remove this little square right now because I know I'm not going to need them. I don't want to forget about them. And we'll leave that guy there for now. So we kind of see the visual with our dance floor, and I want to bring it back a little bit more, closer to where I'm going to have a bartender with a station and some appetizers. And I'm going to have a couple tables up in the front here for mom and dad probably. So I think since I have my visual with the stage, at that point I'm going to click on my guys here. I'm going to ungroup. So now they're all separate, and I can come in and I can do some window and deleting. I'm going to bring this guy over. So let me show you something interesting with this stage. When you click on it, you can come over to the back color, click on that. Again, you have the color palette. I know different colors in my the wedding party, what they have already decided on, so I'm just going to come in and bring in my pink at this point, do some nice lighting on the dance stage, hit OK, and it's going to come in like that. Let's go into 3D and see what this is looking like. Alright, now we're here in 3D again. Let's take a look at the space, see if it's laying out the way we want it to, and I think it's looking really good. We get to see how the colors work together and our space relation here. Nice, a lot of room where we're going to be putting the bridal party up there, and so we're visually able to take a look in 3D. Now here's walkthrough. This again, I think I showed you this earlier, is another good view to take a look, eye level view of your room. So let's exit out here and we're back in the plan view area, and let's start working on the bridal party. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and now we're going to come over here, drag and drop a rectangular table into the space, and come over here to the back color, click on that, and this is where we can add our PMS color in again. We're going to go with the pink for the bridal party, and let's make a copy to our table arrangement. Click on that. It's going to bring you into a dialog box. You can come over and adjust your chairs, and we already went with the Chiavari for the guests. I'm going to go with the wedding chair, and right now it's grouping around the table, so I can just take this handy feature here, click on it, and it's going to remove it, and we have the bride and groom. So let's hit generate and click on this table, and this is going to be for the bridal party. We don't want an office chair, so nice little chair with the sash, and now we can adjust top and bottom, and I want 3 per table because I'm going to do 2 tables per side, so 6 per side, 12 total, and that looks good. And you can also adjust, you know, the gap between the chairs using this. You can also slide it in and out of the table. So that's a fun little feature. And let's click generate. Takes a few minutes for everything to just readjust, but then we can start rotating our chairs and tables and positioning them. I'm going to kind of center this. This is where the grid comes in handy. Again, you can kind of see your distance. Right now they probably have about maybe 8 feet here. So I'm centering them. I'm going to drop this table right next to bride and groom, and then we have another table, and I'm going to do the window these guys together just to make it a little quicker and easier. Oops, did I do that right? Let's try that again. Sometimes I don't wait until it actually follows through with the command, and let's hit copy. That's what happened. I just tried to grab the whole thing. All right, so let's drop it in here, and let's zoom out and see what this looks like. Oops, I zoomed in. You can always hit this little guy down here right in the middle, brings you right back to the center, and you can look at everything full view. So this is looking really good. I'm going to zoom into this area. This area is going to be where the desserts are, the best part besides the dancing at a wedding. And let's come on over and grab one of our nice little rectangular tables again. Now what I'm going to do with the table here is I'm going to leave the depth and the width. I'm going to come over here, I'm going to change the drape color. I'm going to go back to the purple and hit OK. And I want these a little deeper because people are going to be able to walk around the dessert table. So I want it, you know, long enough that they can have desserts on both sides that people can grab. And let's just keep copying here. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit more and show you a feature, the magnet. It's for connecting objects. If you click in your main stage, you can come over here, magnet, shows it at 100 now. Let me bring it to 50, hit enter, and you can see the circle around the end there, and see how it grabs and pulls it together, locks it in place. If I change it to, you know, a larger circle, see how big it is? So that's great for when you're zoomed away. If you have really large floor plans and you're moving stuff around, then you can reposition the magnets. That works really good, helps you out, especially if you have bad eyesight. I'm getting a little older, so these work perfect for me. All right, let's change this around here, and see, you can see again the doors can still be open, people can still walk by. We're going to make one more, and this is where this comes in handy, because you can start to see visually how things are you know, being positioned by each other. You know, maybe this table becomes a shorter table. Let's just change it right now. See what it looks like. Gives a little bit more room for the bridal party to work their way through. We can even just make this one long table. Let me bring this guy over. And if we want, we can just put this one at 96, 8 feet. And, you know, I mean, you can just play around with it. That's the great thing about it. So let's delete this for now. Let's bring another table in. This is going to be our cake table. Drag and drop it in. And I'm going to change that color. I'm going to go with the pink on this one. So again, really easy. Just put the PMS color in and you're good to go. And let's bring our cake in now. So let's go over to miscellaneous items. All right, so we're going to drag and drop the cake into the space. Now it's showing up on top of the table. If we would have brought the table in after the cake would have shown up under the table, and that's where the bring it to the front or bring it to the back works out really well. Then you would have brought the cake to the front, so then you could visually see it. So this is looking really nice. I'm going to move it just a little bit more for walking room. And you know what? Let's bring the people in now so we can see kind of what the flow feels like. So we're going to click on people, and let's just grab this lady, bring her in here, and getting around the table like that. You know, we'll move it just a little bit more, but this again is how you can kind of get a feel for the flow of your room. And let's zoom out and see what's going on. All right, so now this is looking really good. I'm gonna zoom in again, and we're gonna go over to the section over here. And while I'm in here, I'm just gonna bring a few more people in, have some fun with this. Gotta have a lot of different people at a wedding. Let's go back to tables. And I'm gonna bring in our rectangular table again. And what I'm gonna do with this one is, well, another thing I could have done is, you know, I already have the tables over here. So, you know, I could just make a copy. A lot of different ways of doing it. You know, if you had, whoops, got a little excited there. If you want to go with a different color, you can, you know, change it. You can use the same table, but just click on it. And I'll show you this. Just come over here, and, you know, let's put the pink in. And I'm going to hit OK. And now it's pink. So you can do a couple things. Either bring a new table in and change the color, or you can grab an existing one and change the color. So let's zoom in. So now we got our pink table. Let's look at the length over here. I'm going to make this table, I'm going to keep it at 82, and we'll keep it at 36 for now because we're going to put some chafing dishes on it, and we want enough space for, you know, plates, items like that. I'm going to make this table here a little skinnier. This is where the bartender is going to be, so it doesn't have to have too much of a depth. You know, you don't want people to have to be hanging over it to try to get in to grab their drink. And let's copy a few more of these. And got the little rotation there, makes it easy to rotate. Again, the magnets being so large helps out a lot. I think sometimes it makes it a little bit easier to grab it. Oops, where are we? Here we go. And lock it in. And I'm in a window. Now that I got this complete, and we're going to group. And it's together. And now I can move it around. So again, the grid, 5 feet. We want a little bit of room back there for the servers to get around. And mainly he'll be back here, but if someone wants to be a bar back, come back and bring some more, you know, of the beverages in there. And if one of the waitresses wants to come around to, you know, refill the appetizers. So speaking of appetizers, let's bring some good food in here. So we have these wonderful little dishes. again, come over to 3D properties. Let's see their height. This is at 29. The table's at 31, we know, because we checked that with the cake, so we're raising it up. And you can just drag and drop a couple different ones in here and start having fun with bringing in new items and repositioning things and making sure everything works out just the way you wanted it to with this wedding. And again, I am going a little too quick. So let's also bring some plants in. Plants and decorations. Here's my guys. I'm just used to zipping around and, you know, drawing really fast. That this is what sometimes I'm a little too quick and I don't give the computer enough time. But everything reappears. So let's drag some plants in. We got some lovely different decorations here. And what I kind of do is, you know, make a couple copies, get a nice little group going on. And then I'm going to use my window, which, you know, I love. Group them. And let's zoom out. Let's see what this is looking like. This is looking really good. And we can just bring some plants around and, you know, bring them in a different area, group them together and just start filling this hall up. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to bring in some music. I go grab a piano from the AV assets. And let's zoom in over here, see what this looks like. We can rotate it, get a little bit closer. And we can also bring in, I'm going to bring a microphone in and have some singing. And when they do the best man speeches, you're all set there. And I think I want to bring this table over a little bit now. And one thing you can do, you can change the numbers. You can call the tables special names. I named this when you weren't looking. I do that a lot. You know, just click on the group label and, you know, add in whatever you want. So if you don't end up using all your tables, you can just go in and click on it and then renumber them or give them, you know, make them personalized for the wedding party. So why don't we go into 3D at this point and take a look at what the wedding is starting to look like. Okay, and now we're back in 3D and everything is looking really good here. Spatially, the event is looking, it's falling together really nice. I'm going to go over in the walkthrough mode so you can take a look at it here. You can zoom around the room. Look at the dance floor. And we got our back bartender station and appetizers. Our dessert area. Everything's looking really nice. This is going to be a really nice presentation for the client. The piano over there. Let's click out. Okay, so we're back in plan view. Everything is looking great. One little added touch I want to add to my floor plan is I'd like to bring some graphics in for the bride and groom. And I don't really have the item I'm looking for in my assets panel. So if you have the floor planner, the premium library, I'm going to click over into my floor planner. Since they're connected, you can bring items in to your event planner from your floor planner. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to open up my file. I'm going to find my layout. There it is. Looks the same. Bring it into the main stage. And I'm going to come over here. I want an easel. I'm going to drag and drop it into the space. Let's zoom in a little bit closer here. And actually, I'm going to make a few copies just in case. Because once you're back in the event planner, you cannot copy the item. You can bring it in, but you can't copy it. So I make a couple extra copies just to have them in there. So I'm clicking on my easel. I want to add a graphic. Come over to Add Custom Graphics over here on the Properties panel. It's going to bring you in here. You might have graphics in your dialog box. I'm going to upload new because I have a new drawing. Browse image. Bride and groom. Now I can crop it. Zoom in. Pan around. I like that. I'm going to name it. Oh, we'll put him first for once. And then you're going to come up here and hit crop. Now we're going to go back into Add Custom Graphic, go to our pull down, and there they are. If you don't like it, you can delete it or assign the graphic. There's 3 options here, only because some assets have 3 different graphics. So we like what we see. We're going to hit OK. I'm going to hit Save. And let's see what it looks like in 3D. Okay, and now we're back in 3D view. And let's go on and take a look at this. There's our easel right there with the graphic on it. Doesn't that look great? So you can personalize your weddings using graphics. It makes for a great presentation for the when you're sending it to your client. Let's take a look and make sure everything's looking good here. It's looking really great. So let's click out and let me show you what happens here. So we're still in the floor planner. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. And I'm going to make a few more copies with the graphic on it. And now I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to go back into my event planner. Now with the event planner, let's hit save really quick. To make it reappear in the event planner, all you can do is either exit out of your event planner and then log back in, or you can open up a new drawing, which I did here, and then go back in and reopen up your banquet drawing. And there's the easels right down there. Isn't that cool? So, I mean, you can bring items in from the floor planner into the event planner if you got the premium library. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here and just position this by the door. This one I can delete, and we're going to bring another one over here by the other door. There we go. Let's zoom out. And I'll get rid of this extra one that I had in there. So this is looking wonderful. Just a few more things I want to show you really quick. I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier or not, but when you are pulling tables over, the ones that have the colors that you can change with the PMS, they have the little rainbow at the bottom. So look for those, then you can adjust your color over in your properties panel. And I think at this point, everything is looking really good here. I think the client's going to be happy with it. What you can do is you can go up and hit your share button, and you can enter your information in, whether it's the client's email address, or you can send them links. You can copy the links of the event planner and put it in the body of an email, send it to them. They can open up 2D or 3-dimensional, and you can make a great presentation for them using the software. So have fun creating your events.
Let's stay together. I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do is alright with me. 'Cause you make me feel so brand new. And I want to spend my life with you. Let me say sing, baby, since we've been together. Ooh, loving you forever is what I